Today we're going to be talking about To All the Boys I Loved Before, in particular the first and second film. Didn't watch the third one because the second film definitely stopped me in my tracks. So I want to talk about a little bit of why my title is my title. I like Peter as an individual. I like Lara Jean as an individual. I didn't necessarily like them together, and I didn't realize this until the second film. First movie, masterpiece. Like genuine American literature, American history. If you look up what brought back the modern rom-com in this generation, Gen Z, this would be the movie. There's no denying its impact, the first film. The second film had me a little fucked up, I ain't gonna lie. And of course, who's at the scene of the crime? Jordan Fisher, per usual. One thing about Jordan Fisher, he loved playing a side man. He loved being a side man. He does. It's true. It's true. He loves being a side man. So, my problem with this relationship, it kind of made me see it in the second film. What I didn't like is as soon as there was an issue, Lara Jean just seemed scared to not address her problems. If you guys know, on my channel, I love to reference Gabriela Montez. What I don't like is women who don't stand up for themselves or vocalize themselves in relationships. Lara Jean not vocalizing herself in that relationship is what caused her to be interested in or have a slight feeling towards John Ambrose. And what I don't like about this whole John Ambrose situation, I'm gonna call him John because John Ambrose is a lot, child. What I don't like about this whole John situation is it was emotional cheating. People don't talk about it, but it was a lot of emotional cheating between both of them. And I think Peter at times was giving Jen, his ex, and Lara Jean's ex-best friend / rival / young friend, whatever you want to call that girl. He gave her too much room, in my personal opinion. But it never stood right to me that in those two films, everywhere Peter and Lara went, Jen was like around the corner. And instead of Peter telling Jen to go away, he would like dumb the situation down to not hurt Jen's feelings, which to me means that he has leftover. And I get it, that's the first love. Like, if we're talking about it in pop culture terms with music, like Peter and Jen is Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, and Lara Jean is Hailey Bieber without the stalking and without the creepiness and without the, you know, the extras. Like if Hailey Bieber was just innocent, if she was never in their relationship, she just met Justin and boom. That's how I consider their relationship. That's scary because everybody would be like, oh my God, it's, you know, Justin and Selena who belong together. But in reality, Justin picks Hailey. So it's kind of like this situation. Peter picks Lara Jean, but Lara Jean for some reason can't comprehend this. And this really shows in the second film. If they were so well versed and if Peter had, you know, any type of intuition that Lara Jean was insecure, which is pretty obvious because there's a scene where they're making out and Lara Jean's automatically just brings up sex. Lara Jean's like, oh, I don't know if you're expecting me to have sex because you had sex with Jen. And instead of Peter, like Peter reassures her there, but if I was Peter, that would have automatically been like, okay, I gotta stay away from Jen because obviously she has insecurities about Jen. No, instead, at every turn, like Peter is just acting weird. Like the second film, it wasn't romantic enough for me to keep rooting for the relationship past the first movie. And this doesn't mean I don't like Peter, and this doesn't mean I don't like Lara Jean. I actually do like Peter. And the most romantic thing Peter did to me in the second film was kind of when he goes up and he's like, break my heart, Colby, break my heart into like a million pieces, I don't care. I was just like, oh, finally, we're getting romance. But then boom, the movie was over. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this little crumb, this little piece of thing you gave me here? Ma'am, I'm gonna need a little bit more than that.
That was it? I mean,
Like, it was pissing me off. I was just like, I don't think so. You can't make a rom-com and we just have this good moment. And of course, like the fair moment, but that was 5 seconds. Like, where is the meat? It was just bread and lettuce and avocado. No meat, no flavor. Where is the flavor in this? It's flavorless. Like, it pissed me off because all of the romantic scenes in the second movie for Lara Jean was with another man. Why we got John Ambrose, aka Jordan Fisher, aka Mr. Steal Your Girl, playing piano songs for her?
Are we good, John? Ambrose.
We've always been good. Lara Jean.
Saying the reason why people call me John Ambrose is because of you. Coming back to say he liked this letter. Low-key pressing up on Peter's girlfriend because he doesn't know that this is Peter's girlfriend because Lara Jean didn't even tell him that she's not single when it's very clear that they've been flirting. And then in the end of the film when they kiss, and then the snow angel that they were making, there's so much romantic footage of John Ambrose, aka Mr. Steal Your Girl, aka Jordan Fisher, with Lara Jean, that I'm over here, like, in the middle of that film, I was looking around like I was being punked. I was like, where is Peter? I was genuinely confused. I was like, where the hell is Peter Kavinsky? Like, he was nowhere to be found in that movie. I know his scenes took 2 days to film and his ass went home. That was John Ambrose, aka Jordan Fisher, aka Mr. Steal Your Girl movie. And all the romantic moments, all of them, almost all of them, except maybe 2 scenes, all of them belonged with John. I think the 2 scenes Peter got were Break My Heart into a Million Pieces, Covey, and the fair scene. Everything else after that, like, it felt like Peter trying to convince Lara Jean not to be insecure, and Lara Jean trying to convince herself she don't like John Ambrose, when obviously she does, because she had a whole emotional affair on Peter with him. And I was just like, y'all. And in a way I understand, because she was insecure about Jen and Peter didn't do anything. Like, even when Peter did that poem, and that poem was actually not written by him and he doesn't say anything, he makes it seem as if he's the one that wrote the poem, and when he's confronted he's like, well, I didn't say I wrote the poem. Like, Lara Jean, and I thought I was crazy because I'm going everywhere and everyone's like, oh no, this could never be, da da da. I watch reactors, right? So I watch the movie reactors react to this movie. Every single movie reactor, you know, the regular normal people who aren't on TV, film, Twitter, all of them were saying that Peter was not given what needed to be given. I'm so sorry. And I'm glad that I'm not crazy. I'm glad that I had folks like watching the same thing that I was watching, because like literally in the middle of the second film, I felt like I was being punked. This causes me to go back and watch the first film and realize that they were always going to have problems because of that whole issue. Also, I realized Jen has always been around, even in the beginnings of their relationship, because of course they held that relationship at first because he was trying to make Jen jealous, and then he ended up just kind of falling for Lara Jean. This really puts Lara Jean into this situation in the second film when she finds out that the moment that they really were falling with each other and really like had any real intimacy in that hot tub, that was not for her. Like, him waiting there, even after they had that moment where they kissed and maybe he felt a little something for Lara Jean, he still was into Jen enough to be waiting for Jen in a hot tub. And this crushes Lara Jean and causes her to break up with him, because I don't think she's able to handle the fact that Peter is popular. It's kind of like this thing in high school, if you ever read fan fictions, of the girl who's a nobody or a loser falling in love with the popular jock. That was their relationship in the second film that was being depicted to me. Even though Lara Jean's obviously not a loser, I'm just saying, like, that was what was being depicted. She couldn't handle basically dating, quote, the quarterback, even though I don't think Peter was really a quarterback either. He did sports and I think was the captain. Like, she couldn't really handle dating him. She couldn't handle the fact that he was getting female attention. And I think she would have been able to handle it more if he reassured her. He was never reassuring Lara Jean about anything. Even with the Valentine's thing, and they feel like, he's like, damn, these are a lot. Like, he didn't tell her, like, hey girl, I got a lot of Valentines, but you're the only Valentine I need. Like, the necklace was also a cute touch, but then giving it to her with a fake poem, like, and then you have John Ambrose over here writing her a lullaby on the piano. Like, what were the writers doing in the writing room? Like, what are you doing? Like, because I shouldn't have been rooting for John Ambrose. And what makes the John Ambrose situation interesting is that they don't bring him up after, is what I read in the third film, because I tried to see if there was a continuation of this with Peter kind of getting into or being insecure about the fact that Lara Jean had an emotional affair on him. Lara Jean, in the end, just accepting the fact that Jen and Peter have this connection called Jung, because, and I was just like, I'm sorry, Jung, get out of my face. That pissed me off as well, because I was just like, what are you talking about? And I'm glad that Jen, in the end, like, she ended up being like, you know, a big woman and saying like, hey girl, like, Peter likes you. I genuinely was getting his advice. But why couldn't Peter say that? Why when they in the aquarium and she's like, do you want this necklace back? After he follows her, mind you. Instead of being, you know, I don't want to say man enough because they all in high school, you know what I mean? But instead of being like, you're in a relationship. So when you're in a relationship, there's certain things you're going to have to just be grown up about, both of them. Instead of being a grown up, like in a relationship, or being like a boyfriend in a relationship, or just being a caring person and being honest and saying like, no, I don't want this back. I came in here to actually talk to you about the situation. He ends up taking the necklace back. And we never get into the reasonings why like Peter was so passive about Lara Jean breaking up. Like he was hurt like at that moment, but after that moment where he's hurt and then gets on the bus, it just seems as if he makes no effort to try to speak with her. And this isn't like Lara Jean's being aggressive and saying, don't talk to me, da 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 da. She's obviously hurt and she's feeling insecure. And instead of him, again, going to her and reassuring her, he takes back the necklace. And while they're taking it off, they're having like this intimate moment of him like touching up on her and taking off the necklace. Like the necklace wasn't like here and throw. It was like an intimate, like taking it off. It was like he was putting it on her, but taking it off. It was intimate. And instead of just talking about it or saying like, no, like putting it back on or making it a moment that was cute, that's like, no, you could just keep it. He takes the necklace. Like, oh, and then this causes Lara Jean, of course, to spiral, do the snow angels with John Ambrose. She ends up kissing John Ambrose and then decides like, hey, this is not the man for me. Peter's my guy. Like, there's just not this spark, this spark. That's what everybody says, spark, spark, spark. In real life, you don't go with the man that gives you a spark. You go with the guy that makes you feel secure and in your position. And that was John Ambrose at that time. One thing I wanted to say, because I know a lot of people think this is a thing where I wanted her to end up with John Ambrose. It's not necessarily that. I think John Ambrose could have been a bridge to make her realize at the end of the movie, she should have been by herself. John Ambrose was a Mary Sue, but without being annoying. He wasn't annoying to me, but he's a Mary Sue in a sense that he had no downfall. He had no, like, it seemed like you can't find anything bad about him. And I'm not saying that you need something bad about a character, but he was too perfect. Like, it was like, damn, you play the piano? Damn, this is why this is your name? Damn, you're doing her a lullaby? Damn, y'all having all these romantic moments? Damn, like, you picking her up after she falls? Like, all of these little things that was giving perfect boyfriend. And it was like, where is the resolution? Where is the little, like, toughness? Like, there's no type of anything, conflict between them to make me 100% root for the relationship. But I did like John Ambrose because I think he put pressure under Peter, and I think that that's what Peter needed. Like, I think it was nice that Lara Jean was feeling wanted by another guy, because it felt like even with Peter, she couldn't believe that she got him. Like, I can't believe this is my boyfriend. Like, girl, Peter not the prize. You're the prize. You're beautiful. You're smart. Like, John Ambrose was treating Lara Jean like she was the prize. I think that was the difference for me in the second film. Being somebody that's a bit older watching rom-coms, I still like Peter and I still like Lara Jean. But that second film definitely made me look at their relationship like, ooh. Like, it made me reevaluate everything and realize, like, Peter never really stuck up for Lara Jean concerning the Jen situation. And considering the fact that Jen is her ex-best friend / rival, and Jen is your long-term ex-girlfriend, kind of like your first for everything except kiss, because I think his first kiss was with Lara Jean. I don't know. I felt like he should have at one point put his foot down and say, hey, you know, I'm not with you anymore. I'm with Lara Jean. Please stop. He never did that. Every time he got a chance to coddle Jen's feelings, he did that. That was my main problem with Peter.
Oh, yeah. I see you hanging on to him, trying to pretend.